Hey everybody, I hope this first week has been a blessing to you as we've been jumping into our 40-day digital detox. And I will say, if you're using the only little bit of free time you have in the day to listen to this, maybe consider doing something else. But if you're struggling to get started or you're already wanting to quit, I would love to just give you a little bit of encouragement and maybe some tips to keep going, because I do think this will be a blessing for you. And I want to start by just reading from Romans 12 to something that Pastor Noah was praying for us as a church family, because it is the heart behind a lot of what we're doing here during this 40-day digital detox. It says in Romans 12:2, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. That's my prayer for all of us. That's my prayer for you. And I do just encourage you to take that and own it during this time. So first off, a couple simple changes that maybe you can make in your life if it's been hard to get this going, if you're lacking momentum, or if you're just wanting to give up. One is to just consider dumbing down your phone. If you haven't already done that, I know this is going to open up a lot of potential free time, as our phones can be a huge time suck and they are often a temptation to reach for. But if your phone doesn't have those normal apps on it, doesn't have all the entertainment and other things, it's just not going to be nearly as tempting to do that. And it'll create opportunities for just these windows or moments with God, either alone by yourself or through conversations with others. And again, it's these little things that add up over time that are really going to shape you and transform you and renew your mind. Another little tip to keep going is just to mix things up. So whatever your normal routine and habits are, think about ways that you can shift those, whether that's pointing the couch away from the TV at home, changing the passcode on your phone, or just doing something else that's out of the ordinary for you. We are creatures of habit, and sometimes we do things without even thinking about them. And so if we make just small changes, sometimes it's enough to wake us up to the habits that we're in so that we can build new habits. And maybe it's something small, like the hat I'm wearing right now happens to be a different hat that I'm used to, but it's something that sets the tone for me that we're in a different season, and I just want to be reminded of that. So mix things up. And then finally, find something fun. So for my kids, we went out to the bookstore. I let them each pick one new book, and for them that was a special treat and something that they're going to take into this time and have to read, as well as keep them away from their devices. For you, it might be going on a hike with some friends. It might be going out to the park or having people over for dinner. But don't just think about what you're giving up. Think about what you're adding in that is good and that you can enjoy and celebrate, because there are so many good, simple pleasures in life. And I know you've probably encountered some challenges already. If you've started, we're a week through right now, and you might be feeling guilt or shame. That's a reality for many of us. When we set high goals and then we don't meet them, or it's just not the way that we had pictured, we start to feel this burden of guilt. And I just want to say, let that all go. It is okay if it doesn't look the way that you hoped it would look. The fact that you're even trying is something special, and it's okay when you're building new habits to start where you are, not where you want to be. So don't let that keep you from going on. And you know what? We're entering a new week. Consider it a fresh start, and you will get the benefit of doing something different as it feeds into your relationship with God. So we're going for a cumulative impact here, not a silver bullet. And if it hasn't turned out the way you wanted to, that's okay. You know, another challenge some of us are facing is living in a divided household, or just different levels of buy-in, whether that's you and your spouse, or you and your roommate, or you and your kids. We can all be coming at this from different places. And so if you're struggling with some of those relational dynamics, as maybe you're wanting to reach certain goals and other people aren't quite there, or they're fighting you tooth and nail with some of the changes you've made, you know what? That's okay too. Something that you can do is focus on what you have control over. And so that might just be monitoring your own screen time, That might be setting an example for those around you by doing some of those good things that I was talking about, finding joy in the other parts of life besides your digital devices, and then letting others see the blessing that you're experiencing and inviting them to be a part of that. And maybe you can take the few shared ideals that you do have with your family or your household and emphasize and celebrate those, or find one thing that you can focus on together and just go all in on that one thing. As I read before in Romans 12:2, we don't want to be conformed to this world. The powers out there and the spiritual forces, the culture that we're in, all of this is aiming to shape us. And so we have to make steps to counter formation, to becoming more like Jesus, to allowing God to transform our mind, and without including opportunities for God to speak into us, we just will fall into what everybody else is doing all the time. And so here is our week 1 suggestion, recommendation, a practice that you can take and run with, and that is to take your phone, put it in another room or another space away from your bedroom, away from where you sleep, and get it away from you an hour or two before bedtime, whatever that is for you. And allow those last moments or hours to be just you and God. And on top of that, if you grab a psalm or a chapter from the Word and you just read through that and let that be your prayer, let that be the last thing that enters your heart and your mind before you go to sleep, I think you're going to find that that is a huge blessing. Rather than taking in news or drama or work as the last thing that you think about before you try to rest, let it be the Word of God. And on top of that, if you've put your phone away, when you wake up in the morning, don't let your phone be the first thing that you look at. Take just a moment, take a few deep breaths, welcome God into your day, and maybe read the proverb of the day. These are simple changes that you can make that are going to be a long-term blessing. And I just am so excited. Don't give up. Be encouraged. You're not alone in this. I can't wait to hear what God's doing for each of you guys. God bless you.